Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today we continue our beat formula series. Today I'm excited because we're going to cover one of my favorite groups, production groups of all time, the Neptunes. Now, Pharrell Williams has always been one of the GOATs since I was just super young. His style, his fashion, his music, his melodies. And it turns out his mentor was Teddy Riley. And Teddy Riley was the man who invented like the New Jack Swing and made it popular. I was playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and I would just ride around the car nonstop listening to CSR radio. And I didn't know that Teddy Riley was behind, that sound. And then he was the mentor to the person that I also like. It's like Teddy Riley is the foundation of all this stuff. So shout out to Teddy Riley as well. But let's get into it. So the chords here are going to be, I wrote these down because I was trying to reverse engineer here. D major over G. So here's what it sounds like. I'm going to try to play. Excuse me, D major. So that was D minor, pardon me. So that's D major over G. And then E minor over A. And back. And then we're going to make a change up to where it's C major over G. And then we're going to play D suspended second over A. Okay, so those are the chords, and I'm using an E piano for that sound. The snare is a little bit different. So let's start with the rhythm, and then we'll move to the keys real quick. So let's go to the grid. The snare is like really interesting, but it breaks down into tresillo, which I teach all the time. So tresillo is ta, 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 ta. We're at 94 BPM. So turn your metronome on. So basically, pardon me, what we're doing is creating tresillo, starting at the snare. So it goes boom, tresi. But the third, tresillo is not a snare, it's a shaker. And then there's a snare at the very end. So this is interesting because this is kind of what Afro music is turning into now. So Pharrell and them were on this way before. So it goes tresillo, snare. So what I'm going to do though is clone this so it's not repetitive. We're going to take out that last snare. So that snare is a little bit different than your typical 3 and 7 snare. Or 2 and 4. Let's go back to pattern 1. Now the kicks are pretty easy. It's just boom, boom. We're following the chords. So it's kick, kick, space, space. And then on pattern 2, we're going to do kick, kick. And then at the end, it goes tresillo. I keep telling y'all, tresillo is so ubiquitous. So it goes doom, 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 tresillo, like that. So what I need to do though, I put that on the wrong pattern. Let's swap this pattern out to this one and then reverse uno. And you guys will get the project files for free if I didn't mention that. Now let's go in and add some filler shakers. I'm going to go to a new pattern though to write the shakers. You guys can create your own shaker pattern. Just think tresillo. So okay, so my mic recorded. Let's get rid of that. Let's turn this off. All right, so I'm going to record a little bit more only because that was a little short. I'm on the kick. Oh my goodness. Let's do this again. Here we go. Make sure this is drawn out. Tresi. I'm going to get rid of that ta, 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 because I don't want it to offset that tresillo bounce. Let's hit Alt. Actually, with shakers, you don't really need to hit Alt Q because a shaker does not start perfectly at where the notes are. It has an attack time to it. So it's going to go, whoosh, whoosh. It needs time to build up to the main sound. Now here, I'm going to get rid of some of these double shakers. Keep in mind the other shaker is in the pattern, so I'm getting rid of the overlap. So I'm going to keep it simple like that. You guys can go back and kind of fix it to fit your specific sound. Let's highlight all these sounds, hit Control L, send them to the mixer. So we have our kick, we have our shaker, we have our snare. Now notice we're not using a hi-hat or a closed hi-hat on this one. And what else is there? Then we're going to add some like DJ scratches. So what I'm going to do is trim this. We're going to go to the volume envelope, turn the hold parameter up, turn everything else down. That way you can control what it sounds like. Let's record. I'm gonna turn the metronome on. So we're gonna add a DJ scratch, probably at the 4-bar mark. Something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, so that's that very 90s sound. So that first hit wasn't long enough. We need to drag it out. So it goes choo-wheat, like that. Okay, so that's a quick way. And then we can layer this with just some kind of overtone. It's a little bit brighter. Okay, so really simple. I think the song is with Maya and I'm forgetting the dude, but it's a classic song. All right, let's go back and start adding these chords. Let's hit record. So again, the chords are going to be D major over G. Let me stretch this out in case I mess up. So it goes dun 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 dun, dun. And then we need a guitar mute as well. So the chords are pretty simple. So what they're doing is they're keeping the same bass note and they're just moving and transposing everything down. So instead of D major, we're playing C major. So they're transposing it down a whole step in that case. And then we're playing a suspended second in that case from D. So that would technically break this down to another whole step jump. They're just switching out the chord type. So really it's just a whole step jump up top in the chords, but the bass is playing the same thing. So let's record this in. Let's record for a little bit here. So I just recorded all the way through. That way it's not the same thing all the way through. So now we just need that main top line guitar. So everything boils down to 4 layers. If you're new here, there's a top line layer, which is like the guitar muted sound. It goes ding, ding, ding. It just kind of jumps around the beat. You have the harmony section, which is what we just did, playing chords. You have the contrast layer, which is your bass layer, and then you have your rhythm section, which we did with the drums. So every beat can be simplified into those layers. I'm going to give you guys the project file so you don't have to memorize like every little step. We label this for you. So now we got to find a guitar mute. Very common sound from I think they use a Stratocaster guitar. So you guys can find this in the Korg Triton plugin. It's just look for Strat guitar or muted guitar. Let's play the beat and just kind of. So this sounds like a guitar, but it's actually a clavinet, a muted clavinet. Keep in mind, guitars and pianos are similar because they're both stringed instruments. So now I'm going to come up with my own top line, and we're not going to copy the one from the song. All right, so I'm gonna record my own riff. Let's add this. So I messed up the second half, but it's all good. We're freestyling right now. I'm going to keep the second take because that just was a smoother play. Again, I'm trying not to copy the song exactly. You guys get the gist. This is the top line. And that was 12 bars of melody. Interesting. Let's go back. Oh, you know what I left out. Okay, that's why. Let me Control Z that because I don't know what. I stand corrected. That was 16 bars. I forgot that was supposed to be where it was. All right, what is this? Okay, so we have 16. Let's clone this. And now I'm going to add in all the extra stuff. Now, the original beat is not complicated like this. Beyond this point, this is me just showing you guys other stuff. Okay, so let's label this guitar mute 2 and 1. And then let's hit Control L. Send this to the mixer. Because they are the same instrument, we're going to send it to the same mixer channel, which is 8. And now I'm going to add my own stuff over top. So here's where we're going to bring in the strings. I might do the beer thing. I don't know. We might be doing too much if we go too deep, because if you start adding a bunch of sounds, you're going to want to stack them up. So you guys got to be careful not to add too many sounds, because then you'll just go down a rabbit hole of making new ideas. But we definitely want to add this sound somewhere in here. So I'm going to add that in. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So it's not in your typical spots. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Okay, so it just kind of comes out of nowhere. Let's hit Alt Q, quantize this to the grid. Okay, let's spread these out. I think that's a little too many. Now I'm gonna go and try to find more instruments. Also, we need to add some kind of bass in here. So this is where you guys can kind of be creative. You have a contrast layer still that we haven't filled, and you can add like filler sounds like strings, Arco string from Korg Triton, for example. more synthetic strings. Those strings are almost too organic. Again, this isn't mandatory for the sound. I'm just adding these in. We're just reinforcing the harmony. Let's just play like a cinematic type thing. It's a little too cinematic for, for the Neptunes, and almost too sustained. They use a lot of truncated sounds. I'll just leave it for these first 4 bars. But it is kind of overkill. We're into OT now. We're in overtime right now. Let's call these strings, and let's add like one more Neptunes type thing. We used the muted guitar, we used the strings. What else did they use? I mean, that's pretty much it. Again, the guitar mute could be a little bit better. Now let's add some passing notes here with this bell. I know what we can add. We can add some guitar, some octave guitar, like a jazz octave guitar. Again, we are in super overkill mode right now, so this is not the original reference here. We're adding stuff. I might redo that guitar mute because it's just not. Let's redo that guitar mute. And what was I gonna do? I forgot. Guitar mute. Oh, let's do a guitar. Octave guitar. I'm gonna do a nylon. right, so now I got a little contrast going. So that is a contrast, even though it's not playing super low notes. It's contrasting the top line. What I'm doing though is playing G to D, which is the tonic, but we're going backwards. So it's G to D down. That's the tonic to the fifth. It's called perfect fifth. Is always 7 semitones upward, 5 semitones down, 5 notes down. And then we're going from D to A, which is the fifth of D. So basically we're playing fifths, just going backwards. Of course, I mess up my one finger. One finger messed that up. Darn, man, it was good. Okay, let's do it again. Now I was just playing added notes. Okay, I'm going to leave it in, even though it's not a perfect take. I kind of like that bounce to it. Now we just need a bass of some sort. So I'm going to keep the bass really basic because I'm not the greatest like freestyle on the keyboard with the bass. So let's grab a bass guitar, electric bass, and just play the root notes of the chords. If anything, I'll play octaves. So I'm just playing the root note, then going down an octave, then coming back up. So let's try out some stuff. And then I might play perfect fifths to kind of jazz up the bass a little bit. So I'm just switching it up so it's not repetitive. I like the last 8 bars. So again, we're just following the kick. We're not doing too much. That chord, it should be a little bit different because it goes dun 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 dun. All right, how many bars is this? Let's see. Okay, something's off. Darn, let me Control Z all this. Okay, I cut it a bar early. That's why. So this shouldn't be there. It should be that. We're just gonna keep this. You guys can switch it up. So again, we're just playing octaves and then fifths if I want to make it like more active. Okay, so we're pretty much done. At this point, again, it's just whatever you guys add over top. Chords could be a little bit better around that second part. I might swap out the chords. Since it's only a small part, I might do the work and go back and figure out what chord I need to play. So it's D major over G, then we go to E minor over A, then it's C major over G, but the C suspended second, we could change that out for something else. Let's just figure out where our ear gets stuck. So we're still D major, E minor. Now here's where it changes right here, C major. And then we're gonna do, so that D suspended second chord is it's not emotionally animated enough for this beat. So let's swap out that second chord. We just got to figure out the actual music theory. So what I'll do is cut out every 4 bars. And then we're going to redo those. They're playing some kind of inversion, but it's hard to hear. So let me go through and kind of practice first. I forgot what piano I used. I think I figured out the chord. Let's just try it out. Again, we can get stuck on this for hours, but I think I figured it out. So it's not the chord I thought it was. It's not D suspended second. It's probably... This is a major 6 chord, so that makes more sense. So let's try that instead. I'm not playing that 1,000 times, but basically a major 6 chord is you have the root note. If this is chord codes, you'd have the root note at 0. Then we're going to count up 4 semitones to create the major third. And then we're going to go up to the 9th. So here's what I'm saying. Not the 9th, but the 9th. Here's what it would look like. So I'm playing D, and then I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. It's called the major third. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's how I'm playing it, but then we're playing A in the bass. So whatever technical chord this would be, basically it's D major 6th without the 5th, and then we're playing A in the root. So that's the chord that we're actually playing. It sounds a lot more opening. It sounds a lot more opened. My brain can't talk, y'all. The chord sounds more open than previously. Okay. Let's paste these values. Let's call harmony 2. And it fits the upness. It doesn't sound as down as the chord before. So I fixed that chord. So now the guitar stuff should sound more cohesive. Now we gotta, oh, I didn't do the guitar muted part. All right, gotta go back and do it. Let's add a track in here. So now let's go back to the guitar mute. Now that we have the harmony right, now the melody makes sense. This is why I said if you guys skip over harmony, you're not gonna understand melody. Melody relies on your harmony, okay? And melody derives from the harmony. So everybody tries to skip it, but as you guys saw, the harmony was the thing holding us back from getting the melody right. So. right there. Somehow they chords. Okay, so let me practice this clavinet. I like the chord more than I like single notes. So I'm going to play it that way, but you guys can revise it your own way. I was thinking too much, and that's what I get. So what I'll do, we're going to take the first, how many bars is it? 16, 24. We're going to cut it at the 8 bars. I'm going to re-record the same thing, pan 1 hard left, pan 1 hard right. That way we get this nice stereo width. Okay, so we want to have time differences here. So let's call this, even though it's not a guitar, let's call it clavinet muted 1. Hit Control L. We're going to send that to the mixer. And we're going to pan this one to the left just temporarily. Okay, let's record the same exact thing. We're just playing the chords, just strummed out. Okay, so because I recorded those little differences, our ear will stay more engaged with the sound. I don't know why I'm speaking like this, but let's cut this. I think we're going to wrap it here because, again, we went into overtime with the sounds, and now we're just adding 1,000 things. Okay, so let's cut these. And again, hard left, hard right. This one we're going to rename clav mute 2, pan it to the right this time. And now the track will sound wide. Let's do this again. Turn this guitar down a little bit. Okay, now I'm gonna add like a pad sound in the back just to fill out some of the gaps. Since I don't feel like going through 1,000 pad sounds, just gonna record anything that sounds cool. So I like this. We're just reinforcing the harmony. Probably add a filter to it. I messed up the chords, so whatever. You guys will get all the project files for free. It's go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. I think I want to keep just the staccato part, not the sustain part. It just fits this groove a little bit better. Just turn it down. And again, you could probably add a filter to this. We don't want to waste too much time here, but a filter could be, let's even add Fruity, the Love filter, I think it's called. And let's just pick a preset from the sequence. Let's see if these sound good. All right, let's hear it in the mix. Now let's just add our simple little mix. All right, let's play this twice through. All right. The last thing I do on this track is probably switch up the bell pattern layer. But again, I don't want to spend another 30 minutes on small things. You guys will get the project files for free. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. If you're new here, subscribe, like this video, share with a friend. Peace out, guys.